Welcome to The Cynical Developer, the podcast that helps you to improve your development knowledge and career through explaining the latest and greatest in development technology and providing you with what you need to succeed as a developer. In this episode, we talk about Jetbrains Space with Valerie Andrianova. Valerie specialises in team tools, team collaboration and project management methodologies. Apart from product marketing, her role is also to help different teams at Jetbrains to establish the most suitable and productive process to achieve their specific goals and meet their requirements. So, welcome to The Cynical Developer.
Thank you, James. Thanks for introduction, and I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to get you on. The time zones aren't too favourable for you, so it's good to get you on. I know it's quite late at night there for you, so we won't hang around too long. We'll dive into this episode. I think it's going to be really interesting because, as people will know who listen to the show regularly, I always bang the drum for Jetbrains. I'm always talking about how I live and die in Rider and use ReSharper and Data Grip and everything like that. And I pretty much abandoned Visual Studio for Rider now, unless one of my clients insists I have to use it. So I have a hot despise. So that's probably not the right terminology. I hate using Microsoft Teams. I think it's probably the best way to use it. So it's nice to see that maybe Jetbrains have come into the rescue. But before I give away too much about what we're going to talk about, let's dive into it. And for everyone that doesn't know, what is Space?
Well, Space is an all-in-one solution for software teams and projects, and it combines all the tools that are required for software development, like Git hosting, code reviews, CI/CD, packages, issues, documents, chats, and then also collaboration tools and communication. So you get a full solution in one tool. For like the whole process of software development and communication and team management.
Right. Okay. So it's a one-stop shop for everything. Which
basically, yeah. And just to add a little more thing that. Our ultimate goal with Space is to bring everyone, the whole company, together in one place to work and to communicate and to do things together. But at the moment, we are more focused on software development teams just because we know how to do tools for software developers. And for the other teams, that's our ultimate goal in the future, to also provide them with the professional tools for working on their projects. I mean, like marketing teams, sales, HR, and all other creative teams, if we can call them like that. But for now, we are more focused around tech companies and software teams and projects, and all other roles that are involved in the process of software creation.
Sure, yeah, because that was going to be sort of like one of the questions I had, was that Jetbrains is very much developer focused. That's the bread and butter of the company, and a lot of the other competing products out there, they are tailored towards the whole company. So I was going to ask, is this just for developers? But as you said there, it's not. This is going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, how does that compare to competing products like Slack and Zoom and Teams? What makes it stand out? What makes it different from those?
That's a great question, because to say it shortly, that there is no equivalent of Space at the market at the moment. If we're talking from the perspective of different modules that combined in Space. So if we compare Space with Slack, for example, Space is like a team communication tool, right? And Space just offers much more. It also combines like Git hosting at the same place, and documents and issues and everything. So it's not just a chat that is integrated with everything with the whole tool chain that you're using for other purposes, but it is that tool chain that provides you with everything. And also, if you compare Space, for example, with GitHub, it does provide the software development platform that combines tools for software development. But then again, there is communication tools that are missing there, like chats, for example, and we do have in Space. I think that with Space, we're kind of building the new category on the market of the product that is a single solution for covering the whole working and communication process.
Okay. So you mentioned there about bringing everything into one platform. So Slack is very good at chat, and it does do video conferencing as well, but not as well. Zoom is all about video conferencing, which it does amazing, especially since it routes all its communications through China. And if Zoom is listening, that's a joke. Please don't try and sue me. And then you've got Teams, and Teams tries to be everything to everyone. That does chat, it does video conferencing, it's got dashboards in there, it's got ticketing, it's got document stores. And what I found with my personal experience with Teams, it does all these things and not even to a mediocre level. It does them all, and they're all pretty poor. I don't think I go through an entire day without having an issue with Teams. It either crashing out, losing connection. You can't find things using the search, and then when you go and look, they're staring you in the face. So where does Space fit into this? Do you have like separate teams focusing solely on these different like pieces of Space to put them together so that you get a wholesome product that works? Or are we going to be looking at basically Teams Mark II?
Hopefully not. And your question is very fair, I think, because I understand and completely agree that it's very hard to create the solution for everything and provide the I would say decent quality of everything that you build inside. It's really hard, and it requires the really strong connection and collaboration between all the sub teams or team members that are working on the solution. So for me, it's just impossible to imagine that there can be separate teams working on different parts, and then they just combine it together and it works perfectly. Well, I mean, maybe in the perfect world, it might work like that, but I've never seen that. So with Space, like we have a single team, so it's just one product team that combines everything. I mean, we love that approach at JetBrains. I mean, all our teams work like separate, I would say, startups. We still believe that we kind of have that spirit of startup projects. And every team has everything they need inside. So, for example, I'm product marketing and I'm the part of the product team. We have support engineers, QA, we have technical writers, we have business development, everything just inside the product team. And we strongly believe that this approach works for us because we're constantly sharing the same context. And we're pretty sure that this is important when you're building something huge, that everyone shares the context at least at some degree. I mean, it's impossible to know what's going on in every single place of the project, but overall, I mean, everyone is pretty aware of what's going on. So the structure is pretty flat in Space. Like we have one product team and we have sub teams inside, and every sub team is focused on their like module, how we call it, or part of Space that of course can be called a specific product. For example, we have sub teams for automation that are working on CI/CD solution. We have sub teams for applications, Git hosting, and documents and issues. But we all work together. So it's a single ecosystem, it's a single team, and we do share everything. For example, when someone creates a feature or at least a prototype of feature, we start from sharing it on the general stand-up where the whole team is presented. So we collect the feedback about the feature we see, and then it goes through several steps of improvements and polishing and redesigning and stuff like that. But everyone should be aware of what's going on inside. And also there is a question of well, space is not built as a substitution for the set of the existing products on the market, because these products are good. I mean, they solve the problem that they are actually created for. But the idea of space is actually to provide this integrated solution all in one, out of the box. And one of the main principles, like when we build something, is to think from the very beginning, from the idea of the feature, how it would fit to the whole product, not just to that part that it actually belongs to, because everything is connected in space. So this interaction between various modules and subteams is like extremely important for us. And we believe that that basically makes or will make space a different product. I mean, from comparing to the problems that you were mentioning.
Sure. Yeah, I don't want to sort of badmouth teams too much, but I don't know how their teams and that are set up, but it does feel like they are all working in isolation and then coming together at the end and going, does this fit together? Or it's a small team working on the entire product and they're diving between different features, and it's a case of looking at going, oh, well, they want document storage, so let's do this. Or, oh, right, they need issue tracking. Let's copy Trello and let's put Trello in there. But what we've done is we've made the columns for Trello, and we can drag the tickets across, but we haven't put in any of the other features. But we'll come back to it. Because we need to do this other feature, and then that's almost done. Let's do something else. And they're diving around, and everything becomes inconsistent, and you get some real UX issues. One of the ones that really annoys me is if you send a file to one person and say it's called my.doc file, and then you send a different file that's also called my.doc file, it sees them as being the same file and says, oh, do you want to replace this with this new version? It's like, no, because they're two different documents for different people. I don't want to send you the document with one name and then send someone else a document with the same name, but maybe they've got a redacted version of it because they're not allowed to see certain information. And then all of a sudden, because I sent the one to you second that had all of the text in, that wasn't redacted, that other person can now see all the information. It's just like, and this is an enterprise application. It's yeah, because like you said, you've got these people like Slack, like Zoom, that are very good at their one thing. They do that one thing, they do that very well. And it is hard, I guess, to build a tool that does all of those things that you need day to day and does them all well. But it sounds like you've got the right approach there. It's probably the approach that I would want a team to take. That communication, making sure everything fits together is good. And I guess that following in the normal JetBrains style, we'll be able to find different versions of space for all sorts of different things. So we've got like IntelliJ, you've got PyCharm, you've got Rider. They're all the same idea, just at different things. So we'll get space for HR, space for developers, space for marketing.
That's very interesting idea. Honestly, I haven't thought about it, because I mean, from our own experience at JetBrains, when we started, it was the company of just pure developers. But after 20 years, we have about 60% of developers and 40% of non-developers that still need all the tools to actually work and collaborate with these development teams. So we still see it as a single application, single platform that can be used for multiple purposes and multiple types of projects. But I like your idea. It's very cool.
Yeah. So you already mentioned there that businesses are very much invested in the likes of Microsoft DevOps or GitHub or some other version control. They are using Trello or Jira or Mozilla Bugs or some other bug tracking system. They've already got Teams, or they use Slack. They use maybe Cisco meetings, or they use Zoom. What is the incentive for businesses to down tools on everything that they currently use in their process and go, we're going to replace it with Space? What's the elevator pitch for that?
Well, again, yeah, thank you for this question, because we've been thinking a lot about that. And basically, we see several scenarios. If we have a company that have all the business processes set up and all the tools perfectly integrated, and they're happy with everything, probably they don't have any needs like to switch to Space, which is also fine. It happens, right? But normally the companies, they turn to grow or to change or to implement and automate different processes, and this is like the continuous process. It happens like all the time. And again, from our own experience, there are some points in the company development and the company grow where like we need some changes, some restructuring of our current infrastructure, and to rethinking about the approaches to our work and to general company structure and the organization of our work. So that might be a good point, because for example, we interviewed a lot of companies, and what the large companies and to is normally they are using even not like separate tools for like different problems or tasks. They are tend to use even different tools of one category. So in the company, different teams may use different CI solutions or different issue trackers, because they believe that, for example, Jira is for software developers, and I don't know, Asana is more for like marketing people. So in this case, when the company grows, it's pretty hard to control everything, to maintain everything, and to keep the teams connected. So if the company faces the problem, that might be the point where they may want to look at different solution. And here comes Space, which can like replace the whole infrastructure or a big part of this infrastructure with a single tool. And in addition, if it's the tech company, more likely they are already using our IDEs. So that also can be a good like entry point for Space, because Space provides native integration, first-class integration with our IDEs. Now IntelliJ based, even with the IntelliJ, their latest release, we have a built-in Space plugin there. So the developers can do the code reviews, Space code reviews inside IntelliJ. So here comes the idea of the whole integrated environment, including the IDEs. And also from the business perspective, it's easier to maintain the tools like from one vendor. Like when you have a set of tools that you are getting from one vendor, it's even easier from the licensing management perspective. And the second thing here is that Space would be a cost-saving solution in case of replacing several tools. So if you just want to replace one single module, for example, Git hosting, like you won't save a lot on Space. But if you want to replace like Git hosting, say CI/CD and chat and documents, the company would save a lot. Also, that's a good point. And one more thing that I haven't mentioned yet, that well, Space is a platform, and it's built as an extensible solution from day one, because we realized that we won't be able to satisfy like all the needs of all the companies in the world and support their business processes. So we wanted to provide as much freedom as possible for extensibility and for integrating with other like specific tools that most likely we will never build inside Space. And also, space provides a lot of flexibility in terms of in-product automation. So again, for the internal business automation teams, it's much easier to build all these integrations inside like one platform than integrating like several different not connected tools. So that's another point for going with space. Yeah.
Okay. So you talk there about integration. Now, if I'm using Jira for my bug tracking and I'm using Microsoft DevOps for my CI/CD and my version control, can I use those within Space, or do I have to go with a JetBrains product, move everything to TeamCity and UTrack?
Well, in case of space and integration with other products, it doesn't really matter where if you are using UTrack or Jira. There is a general way like to integrate with space, and at the moment we provide the way to import your issues to space, but we understand that it might take a while for migrating, for example, from Jira or from some CI/CD solution. So we have plans to provide the ready-to-go integrations for the most popular products in each category. But that's something that we are working on, or what is planned for the future, because we are working on the support for space applications on our marketplace. So we can build something, or the third-party companies can build something and share these applications, and it will be more easier, to actually build and exchange these extensions and applications. So when we release this support and it's planned for this year, we're planning to like cover all the most popular tools integrations like one by one. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you talked before as well about the version control, and then you were saying there about things being within space. Is the version control directly in space that's then stored on the space servers? It's not GitHub or anything like that. It's a new implementation of a version control.
Yeah, it's a new implementation of actually Git hosting. We only support Git. But yeah, that's something that you can completely switch to. And there's also an option to mirror your repositories from GitHub or GitLab, because Space doesn't provide the public access at the moment. And for example, if you need your repository to be public and you want to get the external contribution, but then to work with your team internally on the same repository, that's something that you can do inside Space, and by mirroring it to GitHub, you get two-way synchronization. That's, for example, how our Kotlin team works.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. With the storage of the data and the documents and everything that are within Space, is there a way for users to choose where those files are stored? And what I mean by that, are they stored? Can they pick? Is it stored in an American data center? Is it stored in a UK data center? Is it stored in a European data center? Can they make those choices?
Not at the moment. At the moment, we only have one hosting region, and this is in Europe. But we understand that this is important for customers in different countries and different locations. So we're working on support of multiple regions. The first one we're going to add is the US, of course, and then the Asia to cover that region as well. And then we'll see like what's the demand. But these two are planned for sure, and we are hopefully we'll get to this point this year.
Sure, yeah, because I've worked with a few fintech companies, and we're legally bound to not store any documents in certain places. I said they're legally bound not to store documents outside of the UK. So it's always good to know where that data resides, because I know that we've been looking at stuff in Azure and we wanted to use certain features within Azure, but
Mm-hmm.
then due to where the data is in transit, the servers that it is in transit on are outside of the UK at times, and we can't control that. We've not been able to use those features. So it with the new data protection laws and that we're seeing coming in, it's becoming more and more of a hot topic. That
This is very true. Yeah.
So it sounds like the product is going to be quite well rounded. That you've all thought about what's currently out there in the market, where their pitfalls are, and you're going to try and sort those out. One of the big things that puts people off a lot of these platforms is cost to the business. So Slack is great on the free tier, but as soon as you want to start using the paid for version, the price goes through the roof, and it's something that causes nightmares for CFOs and people like that. Is there a cost for Space?
Sure. There is. First of all, we have we've chosen to go through the freemium model as well. So we provide the free plan, which is free for unlimited number of users, and it's free forever. And it has, I would say, pretty rich plan in terms of feature set. So all the basic functionality, I mean, all the Space features are presented there. So the limitation is just on some additional things inside the feature. So for example, you get merge requests, but you don't get quality gates in the free plan. So you can try and kind of understand how everything works. And also, as we see, according to the adoption of Space at the moment, that free plan is good enough for small teams for a decent time. So they can just start using it, implement in a comfortable way for them, and then slowly grow. And just when they hit the limits, we expect them to switch to the paid plan, or even for some teams, I think that free plan can be comfortably used forever, and this is also fine. So the first plan, paid plan, starts from $8 for the active user, and we do count the active users monthly. So if for example, someone in the organization does not use Space for, I think it's 2 weeks out of months, then we don't count this user in the billing. So you can start with the team plan, and that will cost $8 per user. Then it goes to the organization plan, which has more resources included and more advanced features also enabled, and it costs $20 per active user again. Yeah. And also there is an enterprise plan, which includes all products back for each user. Yeah, that's something that large organizations will need.
Yeah, once you're getting up to those larger enterprises, then that cost is less of an issue for them. I guess it's they should be making more than enough money to pay for their tools at that point. If they're not, there's an issue with their business model. It sounds really good. Is it out now? Is this something that people can go and download, or is it something that's coming in the near future?
Do you mean Space in general, or the on-premises version?
The product itself.
Space Cloud is already like publicly released. It was publicly released last December, and you're welcome to go and try it and see how it works for you. So it's already in production quality, so everything is ready to go. And at the moment, we're also working on premises version, because it turned out to be very important for our customers to be able to actually host Space inside the organization.
All right, yeah, yeah. An on-prem version would be interesting. That's something I don't think the other competing products do. So I think that where we were talking earlier about where we were storing that data, that on-prem version just sorted out that issue
Yeah,
in the short term.
yeah, yeah. This is one of the solutions
That's great.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if the listeners want to go and find out a little bit more and try space, where should they go? What should they be heading off to? Is there any particular websites or anything like that they need to go and have a look at?
Yeah, it's very simple. Go to Jetbrains .space and just sign up for a space there. It's very easy. It takes like 2 minutes, and you will start with the free plan. So no credit cards or anything is required. And there are a lot of also information and videos and learning resources. So just visit Jetbrains.space.
Awesome. So we're out of time for today. So I'd just like to say a big thank you for taking the time out to come and talk to me, especially this late in the evening for you. So it's been interesting. And I'm going to go away and have a look at space and see if it can do anything for me. That's great. So thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. I was very glad to be here. And yeah, good night.
Yeah, not a problem at all. And thank you for everyone out there listening and for your continued support of the show. You've been listening to Valerie Andrianova talking about Jetbrains Space. If you have any questions about this or any other episode, then drop us an email, a tweet, or leave a comment on the website where you can find all the resource links, show notes for each episode. And if you enjoy this episode, please leave a review on your favourite podcast platform, iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is, and help The Cynical Developer to reach more developers around the globe.